Today we are off on an adventure. We are going to explore Inneston National Park in the Yorke Peninsula. We are going to visit an old gypsum mining town, the ruins of one. So we're driving through the national park right now, and it's quite arid. Lots of us. There's some lovely green shrubbery plastered about the land, and then you come over the hills and see the ocean crashing against the cliffs, and it's very romantic and dramatic, and seeing this strange, arid, empty paradise. This is the beginning of the historical walk. We are going to walk back through history, back in time. It's 2 kilometres return, so very short. Come.
So this is actually the earliest surviving example of a 20th century gypsum mining town.
Interesting. So it was established in 1913 and grew till 1930, and then it declined after the Great Depression.
Yeah, the Great Depression was the moment when the plaster factory closed, which is the company who founded the town in the first place.
Hey, look at that. That must be an old dray. It's super rusty, but it's really, really cool.
So gypsum is a soft white powdery mineral which when crushed and processed can be dried and hardened into plaster or cement.
So that's what a lot of the town was built out of.
Exactly. So the gypsum was mined with shovels and picks to as far as 1 metre deep.
They would have been strong people.
Absolutely. And then it was loaded into the drays, and the Clydesdales would pull this material up the hill to the crushing plant. So normally the people would mine during the summertime when the lake was dry, but they wanted to continue collection of this material during the wintertime as well. So
they drained it. They tried to drain the lake.
Exactly.
It didn't work though because it was below sea level.
That's right.
Interesting.
It was also a very small population. There was only...
It's tiny. Only 36 buildings in the town.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 100 men and only 30 women. What was used to keep it running?
The main source was wood, actually. So the men cut down all the trees in the surrounding area, and this was carted to the factory, which supplied the fuel.
That's why it's so bare around here. The times were very different. There was no such thing as email or text message. It was all letters. And it was a very slow process because there were only 2 families with the horse
And buggy.
With the horse and buggy to deliver the letters to local townspeople. So it would have taken a long time.
It did.
Can you imagine writing a letter and then possibly waiting days, not weeks? So they had a town hall, and during the day it was a school for the children who lived here. But they would make it into a kind of social dance hall and stuff where they would gather and have little parties. But they were pretty formal. Women had to wear gloves and the men had to wear a tie. And I don't know about you, but I always think about the people who used to live here. People just like you and me, who lived in a different time and did things in a different way.
It's quite an eerie place. The feeling here is quite eerie.
It's all empty and abandoned, and those people have all died. That always leaves a kind of almost haunting feeling. Yeah, for example, this old bakery, can you imagine like all the bread that would have been baked in here, all the conversations that would have been had between the women, all the times they would have opened and shut this oven that we're opening and shutting now. So So I imagine the women would have been the main makers of the bread in the town. So it would have been all women working in here. I wonder if they did it in summer. Can you imagine how hot it would have been? No air conditioning.
Oh, that's
This massive cast iron oven. It would have been hard work. And kneading the bread, everything done by hand. Very much identify with their lifestyle, I suppose, because when we were young, we moved to a little stone cottage and there was no power, there was no running water, so everything was kind of done by hand. So we had candles for light, for example. We had to boil water for washing, and we did the washing in a big copper tin with an oar.
That's true. We were true pioneer women.
We were.
They had a lot of horses here, didn't they? They did. So the major transport method was through horse and cart, and the Clydesdale horses worked tirelessly every day.
Thank you for coming with us on this historical wander. And if you enjoyed this little promenade, don't forget to like and subscribe.
And come with us again.